So today we're going to talk about one of the most iconic movies in Hollywood, The Godfather, which is nothing short of a masterpiece. That's because every single facet of the film's production is layered with detail, absolute emotion, and purpose. But everything that we see visually in the final cut was once just an idea in the mind of a person named Mario Puzo, who's an American novelist, author, and screenwriter who was born and raised in Hell's Kitchen, New York. Throughout his career, Puzo wrote dozens of scripts, books, and short stories, many of which involved the mafia, including The Godfather and The Sicilian. And the person who directed and made this movie possible was Francis Ford Coppola, who's an American filmmaker who was one of the forefront faces of Hollywood's new wave. Ford Coppola began his career in Hollywood as a screenwriter before rising to prominence with the 1972 film, you guessed it, The Godfather. Here's the story structure for The Godfather screenplay. Spoilers ahead if you still haven't watched this amazing film from 1972. Exposition. Vito Corleone, the Don and Godfather, is hosting a wedding reception for his daughter Connie. As in Sicilian tradition, Vito takes meetings with the wedding guests. His four sons, Sonny, Fredo, Tom, and Michael, intermingle with the wedding guests as well. Inciting incident. The Corleone men go to pay their respects to Don Vito's right-hand man, Genko, who is lying on his deathbed. Genko dies and Don Vito's adopted son inherits the job. Plot point 1. Tom is sent to California to deal with the Hollywood producer Jack Waltz, who is interfering with the family's business. Although initially rejected, Tom is able to control Waltz by placing the severed head of his prized horse in his bed. What an iconic scene. Plot point 2. Don Vito is offered a business proposition from a rival associate named Solozzo that would allow the Corleone family to enter the drug trade. Vito's eldest son, Sonny, encourages him to accept the deal, but he rejects. Rising action. Don Vito is set up by his bodyguard and shot by Solozzo's men. Sonny commandeers the situation and controls the family's business operations. Solozzo approaches Tom with a truce, but only if he's able to convince Sonny to accept the initial business deal. Rising action 2. Michael becomes increasingly involved in the family's business while Sonny becomes more and more of a loose cannon. Solozzo asks for a meeting with Michael, which he accepts. Midpoint. Michael assassinates Solozzo and his police contact during the meeting, then flees the country. Rising action 1. Sonny nearly beats Connie's husband, Carlo, to death after learning that he has been abusing her. Rising action 2. Don Vito is released from the hospital after his son, Sonny, is murdered. Don Vito then organizes a meeting between the 5 families of the mafia to offer an end to the bloodshed.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The families agree to stop the war. Build up. Michael marries a young woman named Apollonia while hiding out in Italy. The two plan to hide out until it's safe to return to America, but she's killed by Michael's supposed bodyguard, Fabrizio, before they can. Climax. Years later, Don Vito dies while tending to his garden. Michael marries Kay and re-engages a war on the 5 families of New York. Finale. Michael is ordained as the godfather of Connie and Carlo's son. Just after the ceremony, Michael reveals that he knew Carlo was involved in Sonny's death and has him executed. Michael also has the heads of the 5 families murdered. Denouncement. Connie approaches Michael in hysterics alleging that he killed Carlo, a notion that he strongly denies. Kay then confronts Michael and demands that he tell her whether or not he had a role in Carlo's death. Michael lies and tells her he did not.